For the Model Y performance, I think Tesla really missed an opportunity to improve the visual looks of the back end of the car by not including any type of rear diffuser. The back end, you can completely transform it by adding an aftermarket rear diffuser. And this one specifically that I picked up from EV Base, this accents the curves of the bumper really well. And it still provides access to the tow hitch. If you're like me and you use your tow hitch for things, all the other rear diffusers that I could find in the marketplace covered it up. This one has a removable cover that you can take out and be able to still use your tow hitch. So stay tuned and I'll walk you through step by step how you can install this on your Model Y. And with Black Friday coming up, using code MyAdventure26, you can save 26% on anything from EV Base. The style and design with the Model Y performance is nice, but I really feel like this diffuser area is very boring and plain and not matching the rest of the performance, where you can have the red calibers coming through the wheels. And I know these are aftermarket ones, or the carbon fiber spoiler. So I wanted a way where I could still have access to things like the tow hitch, because I still use this and I have a magnetic tow hitch cover on there now, but the design is not great. And I've seen things that you can like stick onto here to kind of add like a diffuser-esque type of design and style, but I went with something different. So I picked up this one from EV Base. Now I did take out from here the tow hitch cover, because I'm going to try to get a solution where it can be magnetically removable, just like this one. So I'm waiting for a part that I ordered from Amazon that should hopefully be here in the next few days, where I can just custom mount it versus it being kind of embedded in there. Because I know, at least on the stock one, it is difficult or a hassle to remove every time you want to take it on and off. And it was kind of the same thing with this one, where it was a little obnoxious. Now, to install this, it's actually something you can do yourself. It is pretty DIY friendly, but I know it can be intimidating because you do have to remove the entire rear bumper, because this diffuser that's on here is mounted to the bumper with screws, or bolts, I should say. But it looks like it's a pretty easy process of just removing. We do have to remove the rear headlights, or I'm sorry, rear tail lights, this one and this one, because there are some bolts that are holding the top of the fender to the car. And then on each of the rear sides, we are gonna have to remove this mud flap, I believe, because there are some like push pins that are holding some trim, because there is one bolt, from my understanding, kind of behind this wheel well, this trim on the outside here. I believe there's one bolt down here that's holding the trim. Holding the rear fender on. And then everything else is just kind of like push clips that are holding. There's like a strip that's right here. I believe there is a strip that goes along here. And I believe there might be one right underneath the tail light. We'll find out. But we should be able to do this all with hand tools. Now, I do have the quick checks that I'm going to use, which are going to be helpful, because in the back down here on the bottom, there are some push pins and I believe 4 or 5 bolts that are holding the bottom of the diffuser in. You can kind of see them here. My guess is there's going to be a bolt, and then maybe one on each end, so maybe 5, but we'll see. And you can kind of see, I believe that is one bolt, another bolt on the diffuser. These look like some push pins, maybe another bolt right here. So you kind of get the idea. We'll take a look at it and see. And the other thing I picked up is, at least right now, this is just a reflector along with this one. I picked up, I don't know if I'm going to install it or not. I'm kind of torn. But they're lights that can basically replace these replace these reflectors that go into the same spots. You can see there's one right here, one on the other side, that wire up to the rear tail light. So I'll kind of figure out whether or not I want to install them and kind of decide from there. But stay tuned and we'll kind of walk through step by step the installation to update the visual and performance wise, like aerodynamically, how much is this going to change the vehicle? I don't know. I'm not a scientist to be able to see, are you going to see 3% more efficiency? For me, this is just a visual upgrade, not necessarily like a performance upgrade. So I'm going to get the car onto the quick jacks, lift it up, and then we'll start with removing on the bottom down here the push pins and then the bolts that are holding it on. So removing the rear mud flap, and I don't remember if I installed these or if they came stock from Tesla, because it's either the front ones or the rear ones came stock and I added the other set. But it looks like there's this kind of push pin that, there we go, just comes off. I don't believe I'm gonna need, I can just twist this one by hand. So I'll undo that one with my hand, and then there normally would be a push clip here, but it looks like that one's gone. And then it looks like just a Phillips screw right here. So let me take these off on both sides so we can get ready to remove, when it comes to it, the trim panel here to get access to the one bolt that's down here. All right, so I did get it out. What helped was sticking kind of a push pin down through here and then sticking it right here in the bottom so I could get some leverage to actually push towards me, when at the same time using my other hand and kind of grabbing back here and pushing towards me. We don't have to remove this all the way because we really just need access to this one bolt that's right here. So this side's taken care of. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side by taking off the mud flap, removing the trim piece right here. I still have to do the push pins down here in the bottom, and I still have to remove the tail light up here. So I could access the bolts to take those off, so then we can get the fender off, or the bumper off. But I was a little intimidated by watching videos of people saying be very careful with these. These were, I mean, it is plastic, so you can break them, but these look like they're just push pins that kind of clip into position each way. And you can see there's a lot of dirt and everything back here. So depending on your climate, you may have a ton of dirt and as a result, some dirty hands. So under the car, there is one bolt, two push pins, another bolt, and then the same on this side down here. So these are, let's see, 10 millimeter. So I'm gonna remove all these bolts and the push pins on the bottom. To remove the tail lights, we first have to take off this plastic cover. This is not like bolted on. I'm just using a push tool here. There we go. So you can see, just pushes on to right here. And then on the inside is where there's two bolts that are behind the trim that we'll have to remove that are holding this on. So I'm going to take this piece off on the other side. Then we're going to go ahead and remove the weather stripping. And then inside here is where the bolts are. So I've removed the weather stripping that goes all along the bottom. I will caution you to say, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there was a lot of adhesive that was along the brim that was probably holding that weather stripping on. So if you're touching it, just keep your fingers aware of that, or if you're kind of bending over it. I already have, I don't know how well you can see it on my shirt right there, a line of it from leaning in, but I'm gonna try to be able to show you. So you can see one of the bolts is right by my finger right in there. There's another one, can't really see it, but it is back there. There's two bolts that you have to remove that are holding the lights on. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them out. I'm trying to get a second, can't really see it here. But you have to remove those. And then the light, you should be able just to pull right off. You do also have to undo the wiring connection. You can kind of see it up there. Those red, yellow, black wires are connected. You can't really see the plug from this angle, but both of those have to be removed. So there's the bolt up there and the bolt right here also. Actually, you can see both of them right here. And then on the left side, it just pushes in, there is no bolt. So I've already moved the other side. You can just see there is one bolt, two bolt, and then there's some push pins that are on the other side. This is an aftermarket light, so that's why I have some extra plugs here. but there is a red push clip that goes into the other one that kind of slides into here that you just have to push up to be able to exit. So to take the tail light off, the left side is obviously going to not be held in because there's no bolts, but on the right side, on the top and the bottom are the push pins. So kind of want to be able to pull it out towards you. It's helpful to use like a trim removal tool here that you can kind of slide in to be able to help push, but it is going to take a little bit of time to help push it out. So you can see it got the top one out. You do want to be careful because there is on the bottom right here, this part of the glass. So you don't want to push it this way and snap and break the glass. So I'll take this one out and then we can get started. There's a bolt on the bottom of this that's holding the fender on that we'll be able to take off. So here's that bolt I was talking about. It's a 10 mil. You just got to undo one on each side. So I'm going to remove also this bolt and then the one on the driver's side, which are the last kind of fasteners holding on the bumper. And then we'll be able to start kind of being able to pull the bumper up off of these little clips that are kind of retaining it. The same thing on the other side. And kind of work slowly one end to the other to get it off. So I'm just going to take a plastic pry tool here and kind of just lift it up. There we go. This one I can just do by hand, but the next one, and then finally the last one here. There we go. So then we can just start pulling the actual bumper here. So let me back the camera up a little bit and get a different shot so we can start doing that. So I've done this on the other side already, but what I found was helpful to remove the bumper because it's basically held in. There's some automotive clips here that kind of go around this way. Starting from the side, you just hear them kind of clip out. There we go. And then there's some that kind of go all along the edge right here. So let me move the camera. You get a different shot. Okay, bud. Then we should just be able to, I believe, pull it out because it's just held on. It looks like there's a retainer here, but there's nothing actually holding the bumper on. And it's off. So if you have a earlier Model Y that has the ultrasonic sensors, there is, I believe, one clip coming from this side, like a wiring harness, that you do have to unplug before you can fully remove this. But you can kind of see there's, kind of hard to see, but there's kind of a retaining clip kind of going all along the edge here. And then there is a V kind of right here that matches, lifting up the bumper here. There's a little notch for that to slide into. So now we can remove the bottom diffuser from the bumper so we can attach the new one. So let me get set up a different spot to do so. All right, so I have the bumper off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts, and then a bunch of kind of just like push pins that are kind of just retaining everything. So let me get these bolts off. I believe they're 10 mil. So the push pins are actually pretty simple. to remove, because you just basically have to kind of push down a little bit so you can push it through, and it kind of goes all the way along the bumper. And then just pushing it through. I'm going to leave the middle part for the end. I'm going to actually move over to do this side. Just squeeze it through. This one's a tight fit over here. There we go. Pushing down on this one, get some leverage on the bumper to kind of hold it. There we go, that one. That one looks like it's already going through. So you kind of get the idea here. Let me just finish up removing these last little bits and adjust the camera here. Hopefully you guys can see okay. This might be the last one here, holding it on. Oh, maybe one more. There we go. So I'm going to put the bumper piece down. There we go. And then on the diffuser, the stock one, these clips you do want to pull off because you will need to reuse these to be able to secure the bolts through and hold on to something. So let me swap everything out. So I have the new diffuser here. You can see I did put on those clips, at least the ones on the top. I didn't do the ones down here on the bottom yet. I'll do that before I slide the diffuser back into the kind of rear of the vehicle. So to mount the bumper back on here, it's basically the reverse steps. I'm gonna start on one of the sides, probably this side over here, and just start pushing in the clips that are here. So let me get this set up here. Whoops, there was that plastic piece. And in essence, slide this back into here to be able to go through the holes that are in the bumper. So I don't know how much I'll be able to record without it getting in the way, but I will do my best. Difficult with one person trying to manage all this, but trying to get it to line up here. It might be easier to push from the other side while I push this onto here. just does not want to manage very well. Well, I have this one. I'm just going to screw this bolt in, try to hold this side in. Do the same thing with this one. After I can get this piece kind of lined up here, just to hold this side of the bumper in. So all the bolts are on, the two over here, two in the middle, two on the right. I did put the clips back on the outside of the diffuser. All of the clips are pushed in all the way around. It was a little obnoxious to do. It did help putting in one side, putting the bolts in, and then trying to work across it because it was very flimsy. The bumper is not rigid at all. It was definitely bending and twisting. And that kind of just made it difficult to be able to do this with one person. I'm sure if you have two people, being able to do both sides kind of simultaneously, or having a friend help you, maybe holding it and stuff, would be a lot helpful. But just by myself, I was able to do it. I think it took about 15 minutes or so. It was definitely a lot easier taking it off than it was putting it on. So I think that's all done now. I just need to decide if I'm going to put the stock reflectors in or do the aftermarket ones. I'm going to go grab those and decide which ones I want to do, because I believe it's just a simple wiring that you just shove the wiring in through here, and then it goes up to the rear tail light and plugs in. But let me go grab those and double check. So I decided I'm going to put the new reflectors, the new lights in that are illuminated, and they go with the turn signals. So I installed those already. They are very simple to do. These ones come with the wiring not plugged in to a clip. I know some other ones, they make you drill a hole that's bigger. These ones fit right in, and they just slide into the stock one and push this pin all the way in. So I did that on both sides. And then what I'll plan to do is just run the wire up and then have it go through the hole with the other wiring from the tail light. And then it just comes with a plug right that's in here. You just stick the wires that match the colors to what's going to be on this side, and then you can plug it in. This basically goes in between the tail light and the stock harness. All right, here goes nothing, I guess. So let me put this here so I can grab it from the other side. I'm going to first try to line it up with the V. I want to make sure the wiring for the new turn signals I don't lose. So I'm going to get one of these sides on. push in. That seems pretty good. These on. That one's on, that one's on. Just work the other side now in. Let's see. Kind of line this up here. I'm going to use a bolt just to hold this so it doesn't keep coming out, just to be like an extra hand. See how I'm doing on the bottom. Oh, I see. Okay. Looks pretty good down there. Got some dirt there I gotta clean up. I got one more side to push in. All right. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the bolts that are on the bottom to hold the diffuser in, and then the bolts that are on the side in the wheel wells. So I'm not gonna record that, it's just putting some bolts in. So just wanna give a quick little update. The bumper is fully installed. The mud flaps on both sides are fully installed. You can see the new light up kind of, that replaced the reflectors that are right here. I have the wiring coming up through here, going through here, and I put the pins into the connection here on both sides. And then the, I don't want to call it a splice, but like the insert that goes in between then the tail light and then the stock wiring harness. So all I have left to really do, reinstall the taillights on both sides, put the trim kind of on both sides, push it back into position, and plug the wires up. And then this thing is all done, and I'll be able to test to see that these work. I'm going to do that really quick though before I plug everything back in all the way. But this is a much better look, I feel. Definitely adds a lot sportier of a look. I know it's kind of ugly right now with this gap where the trailer hitch is. So I'm hoping tomorrow or maybe the next day, Amazon will drop off the new magnetic hitch cover. It basically is the same style as this, but this piece comes off. You can see this is a one unit kind of, I'm assuming injection molded design. The other one, the part here that's connected to here comes off. It basically, you have to install it yourself. So what I'm hoping I can do is plug that into the stock tail hitch, and then kind of just use maybe some hot glue on the edge, so I can then shove the new connector into there, let the hot glue kind of dry, be able to pull it out, and then maybe use some like some strong adhesive. I'm drawing a blank on what the name of it is, but then that way it can be kind of fully secure into there. And I'll take on the new one. It does have some mounts that are on the outside of it. I'm going to trim those off, so that way the only thing that's going to be holding it on is going to be basically this part, the magnetic hitch. So it will complete the design. Visually it will look the same, but then I'll be able to pull this out anytime I want to, you know, use my trailer hitch. So I'm looking forward to that. So let me finish the wiring up here. I know I'm just blabbling on, so we can call it a day. So just to show here, they are working. You can see it does kind of do a trail here on both sides. I have the hazards on right now, which is why they're both going. So I'm excited that this is working, good to go. I'm gonna go ahead then and reinstall everything. It's the exact opposite of what I did to I should say, to remove it. I'm gonna shove the wiring for the light through here, take the light, shove it so it mounts into both of those holes. The bolts will then, both of those will go through here and here, secure the nuts onto there. Do the same thing on the other side. Shove this back into position, put the weather stripping back on. Then I'll take the car and take it off the quick jack, and we're done for now until I can get the other piece for the hitch. So it's a few days later, but the install is done. I put obviously all the lights and everything back in, and you can see how well this diffuser actually now completely changes the rear end of the Model Y from being very just plain and boring to now kind of accentuating the curves. You can kind of see in the bottom going around the bumper with that diffuser. It fits very well with it. There's no gaps or anything with it. The carbon fiber finish here, let me kind of zoom in on this, and then I'm just going to bring it up to the bumper. It matches it very, very well, in all honesty. The design, or I guess the design of the weave that's printed on the ABS, very, very similar. Obviously not real carbon fiber. It is just a plastic ABS, but I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on a real carbon fiber kit. It almost makes me want to do the side skirts now to kind of match everything with the front splitter that I have, the rear diffuser, the spoiler. I guess the side skirts will have to be next. I'll have to look into that. But I do appreciate at least what I did with the bumper cover, or for the tow hitch, I should say. This is now entirely removable with one hand. You don't even have to, I guess with the stock bumper cover that's on here, taking the clips out, it's really hard to take in and out, in all honesty. Here, let me fix this. So just pounding it, and it does fit pretty nicely. You have to pull pretty hard because it's being compressed between the top and the bottom here. and you have to pull pretty hard to remove it. So I'll at least go with that for now until I can think about a different solution. I tried the epoxy and that didn't really work out. It didn't stick very well, but hope at least this helps with the review and the install of it. I did notice on EVBase's website, the matte carbon fiber is no longer available. I guess they sold out, so they only have gloss carbon fiber, gloss black, or a matte black. So the matte black would actually probably go pretty well with like the wheel arch cover as being like a matte finish. So I guess it's really, you know, whatever your personal preference is. Some people like the gloss, some people like the matte. I personally don't like the gloss, but this is obviously everyone's unique taste is up to their own choice. So I am very happy with it. Something you can do by yourself with one person. You don't need 2, 3, 4 people to do this. As you kind of saw in my video, I think having 2 people to help attach the diffuser to the bumper would make it easier, you know, less of a struggle. But you can do this all with one person, all by hand. You don't even need power tools. You just need a trim removal kit and some bolts, or some sockets, I mean, to remove the bolts, and that's it. So I did end up trying to epoxy that I guess tow hitch piece onto the back of this, and I did cut off on the back all of those push pins that push in to kind of lock it. This did not stick very well, even though I sanded the back of this, put the epoxy on. But as you can see, like I'm pulling on this right now, and there, it just came out. So all those edges are cut off, but it has still a lot of resistance being squeezed in between the top and the bottom here, and it lines up pretty well and holds into position here. Let me try to do this one-handed. So I just gotta push this part in. There we go. And good as new. So I might think of a different way to try to make this easily and quick detachable. Maybe having some epoxy with some magnets to stick to the inside of the tow hitch versus this, because this just didn't sit very well. Maybe I can try to 3D print something that has more of a curvature. You can see this, unlike the other versions, has a pretty significant bend or curve into it. There's one side, you can kind of see the other. So the only kind of adhesive, and I do have my hot glue, maybe that contributed to part of some of it when I was trying to get it into position here, but there's still a lot of space here for it to hold on to. But I'll think of something, or I might just keep it like this, because I don't think this is going to come out of position here. You have to pull pretty hard to be able to pull that out. I'm not worried about it, and it still looks great when it's on the car to be able to access it. So hope at least this install video to get this, the whole diffuser installed, was helpful. I did this all by myself in my garage. But right now, EVBase has a Black Friday sale going on. Using code MyAdventure26 saves you 26% off this rear diffuser. So it is one of the most affordable options that I could find. And it got here pretty quickly. I think it was within like a week and a half, 2 weeks after ordering it. So I'm very happy with this. Drop any questions or comments down below. If you have any questions, I'll be sure to take a look and answer them. This was Matt from My Model Y Adventure.